Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, a podcast where we teach speakers how to land paid speaking engagements and corporate contracts. Each week, we deliver high-quality content that teaches you how to level up your speaking business. Be sure to join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group after having your mind blown by this information-filled episode. Now, here's your host, Ashley Kirkwood, lawyer and professional speaker. This is the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast.
Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. Today I have with me Steffi Baker, and so we're super excited to speak to her about her company, her business, as well as how she wants speaking to play a larger role in that business. So welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Definitely. Tell us a little bit about the company that you run now and how you'd like speaking to play a role in that, and if it already plays a role.
Sure. I've been working with high net worth families and individuals for over 10 years now. And I just do some consulting work. My company doesn't have a formal name. Up to this point, it has not. And I've been encouraged to go out and help people understand how investments work at the high level. I'm not an investment advisor, and I don't want to be. There are many people better at that than I am who are registered and all that good stuff. But what people don't know at the high level is hurting them. There's more than just stocks. There's more than just bonds out there. And if you want to understand also how the whole money game and the whole wealth management game works, I have 10 years of experience working with the highest, most wealthy people in the world. I have a view, unusually, into what exactly they do and don't do. And a lot of that, more than you would think, is actually scalable down to us regular folks who can learn from what they do and apply it. So you're not left sitting there trying to be your own stock picking genius, because as a lot of people already know, you may have seen the studies that a monkey throwing a dart and picking stocks that way can do better than an active manager. So there's more to investing than just doing that. And there are a lot of opportunities that people don't know about, and B, if they know about it, don't know how to get into the game. So I'm creating programs to help both a mixed group and also specifically women learn about the investing in money at a very high level.
Awesome. And how did you get started working with wealthy people?
Oh, by accident, as it happens with almost everyone I've met in this space. So I was in Silicon Valley working for Sun Microsystems. I was running channel partner programs for the big servers, for the systems integrators globally. It's pretty exciting back in those days until 9/11 happened. I was about to be transferred to London or Paris. I'd been spending a lot of time overseas working with clients, particularly in Europe. And not only did my job went away, obviously the transfer went away, but I decided I still wanted to go. I took my severance money and decided to go get my MBA. Edinburgh Business School had a campus teaching its curriculum in London at that time. So I moved to London to get my MBA, and I wound up staying 12 years.
Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood here, and I know this is an amazing interview. And if you are someone who is interested in taking your speaking career to the next level, then do I have something for you? Okay, I need you to go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay. That's ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay. The link is also in the show notes that you can grab the Speak Your Way to Cash live replay, which has 7 modules, a ton of information about how you can start speaking your way to cash. Now, this training is absolutely action-packed, phenomenal. It has additional resources. It has templates. It has a podcast pitch template, a college pitch template, something you can send to media outlets to get on television. It has everything you need to develop a sales strategy, a press strategy, and a plan to skyrocket your speaking career. And it is crazy affordable, okay? So head on over there right now, ashleynicolekirkwood.com/speak-your-SYWTC live replay, and grab your copy today. All right, let's get back to this interview. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had the whole life. I got the passport and everything, so I can go back anytime. Although I think I'm going to wait a little while and let the world
right.
But yeah, as a business school student, I was reading the FT all the time, and I was reading about wealth management, family offices. I mean, what is this? A lot of people hear this and think, oh, is that an office in your house? No, it's just an investment entity, a corporation that handles the investments and sometimes the personal lives of very wealthy people and families. And I thought, this sounds interesting. There's always wealthy people. There's always wealth no matter what's going on. And I got into that as a strategy consultant with a small firm in London, wound up running a publication, started my own, am currently the managing editor of one about real estate. And I have just seen so much and learned so much from a place that very few people even know exists. And it seems to me that I should share some of this information to help other people create their own wealth at the level that they choose. You don't have to accept someone else's definition or society's definition. You can decide. For example, I used to have someone working for me in England. She and her husband decided that they could live their absolute perfect grand life on 120,000 pounds a year. They lived in rural England. That was going to get them paradise. Great. You don't have to aspire to have gazillions. It's okay if that's not you. You decide, and then you make your plan, but then you have to understand what's going on. So that's kind of how I got into it. And it's just mushroomed. I'm still doing publications, and I'm writing a book right now. And we'll, off the back of that, I'd like to go give speeches, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Awesome. Okay, great. So then we'll definitely talk about your speaking career and the book that you have coming out. Mm-hmm. But if you were to choose 3 things that you know from your 10 years working with wealthy people that most would be surprised by, what would be those 3 things?
Ooh, Ashley, that is an amazingly good question. And the answer to that would be probably number 1, that there is, like I have alluded to already, there is a lot more than stocks and bonds out there to choose from that will get you better returns with, interestingly, lower risk. People don't understand that. They just don't know, and no one's going to teach you about it. Secondly, I would say, I'll say what I know that everyone's heard, and then I'll try to give the twist on it. So we've all heard money doesn't buy happiness. Mm-hmm. That's very true. Now, money certainly greases the skids. Not going to lie, money's great. Having more money is great, but it is not a piece of cake life when you have a lot of money. It takes away a certain level of concerns. Like, you're not worried about paying your mortgage. That's true. But it's a lot more complicated than people realize. And you cannot buy the other. Money's one kind of wealth, but you can't buy the other things that make total wealth. I've met people that, honestly, they may have $1 million in the bank, but they've got a penny in their hearts. Mm-hmm. They worked. They've been divorced a bunch of times. They don't see their kids. That's not wealth. That's just money. And Bob Marley said, some people are so poor, all they have is money. Mm-hmm. And that may sound a little crazy, but it's really true. Third thing, things that people don't realize, how much wealthy people care about others. I think, and they pay taxes, and they do a lot of things to create jobs. They're philanthropic. They do a lot of things, and kicking people for having a lot of money. Don't we all aspire to that? Don't do that. Learn from them. I'd say those are the 3 things that come to mind.
Nice. Those are really good. And so in terms of your speaking topics, then, is it, who would be your ideal speaking? Well, what's your ideal speaking topic? We'll start with topic, then we'll go to your target audience.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a list of ideas for talks that I could give, and it would depend. I tend to think of things in 3s because it's kind of easy human thing to hang your hat on. 3 different kinds of audiences. I am familiar with very wealthy people. I could certainly talk to them, but I would also be interested in talking with people in that middle tier, the middle class, who are doing good, well, okay, that want to figure out how to get to the next level. mixed audiences, people that it doesn't matter if maybe you're already investing or if you really haven't dipped a toe in, or maybe you've just only done mutual funds and you don't know what to do. It's okay. Either end, we can get you up to speed. So there's that audience. And then also, thirdly, specifically women. There's so much work, extra work that women need to do to get in the game and learn, and they're missing out. And I think you talk to women in a specific way, and I think a lot of times women appreciate being in a predominantly female environment.
Nice. And what's the goal of your speaking? Is it so that, are you trying to do speaking engagements in order to build a pipeline of clients for your business, or are you trying to make speaking an independent income stream for yourself and your business?
Oh, that is an interesting question. I think that it's more the case of it's integrated for my business. My goal when I stand up there is to entertain, educate, illuminate, inspire. I want to get people thinking about something that they've not thought about before and leave thinking, whether it's calling me to talk to me or doing something else, I'd like to inspire them to take some action step within 24 hours of hearing me speak that takes them closer to their financial goals, whatever that is. So that's the goal. As far as speaking as an income stream or doing that, I spend a lot of time lately thinking about, well, what do I want my lifestyle to be like? And I really love my husband. I really love my rescue kitties. Got 4 of them. And I've traveled a lot in my life. I would not like to be 50% on the road or more. I really value my time at home. So I think if I'm launching a book or if I'm launching something, okay, fair enough. If I have to take 12 months and I've got to be out there, I'll be out there. But I think it's more for me, it's a part of the business, not the primary business.
Okay. And you're in Baltimore?
I'm in Baltimore presently. We plan to move to Salt Lake later in the year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if it were up to you, how many engagements would you do a year?
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. I think I would think somewhere in the number of 20 to 40 would be good enough for me.
But they'd be local or virtual, so you don't have to travel as much?
Predominantly, yeah. I'm willing to travel, and I would get on a plane for the right audience, for the right gig. I would go wherever I needed to go. I just don't want to do it all day, every day for a month.
Right. So typically what I ask people to think about is, because in order to shape the career that you want for speaking, you have to kind of you have to do it backwards. Yes. So as you know, as someone who helps people with wealth management, you have to have a plan that determines what's the financial goal here. Mm-hmm. Speakers can either make money directly from speaking, so they're getting $5,000 to $10,000 per engagement, mm-hmm. Or they can go to speak to an ideal audience who'd be perfect for their company. So they're great to fill the pipeline. And whatever your packages are, your goal is to go to an engagement with 100 ideal clients and convert 5%, which is another way to think of your speaking career. Okay. So when you think of it numerically, those are kind of the 2 avenues that we use to shape a plan. Mm-hmm. Are we thinking about this in terms of, I want to get paid to speak, and as long as I get my check before I get on stage, I'm fine? Or are we thinking about this in terms of how do we get money by speaking for free possibly, but the audience is very well qualified? So of those 2 things, which do you think you are more in line with?
I think definitely number 2, Ashley.
Okay. So like the ideal audience route.
Yeah, that's more my bag. And one thing I will share with you is my dream gig, speaking at Davos.
Nice.
Hey, why not? Someone asking, right? Why not?
Yeah. So in terms of your business, what packages do you sell to clients? What are the levels at which clients can work with you?
I'm putting that together now. I'm getting some very good assistance with that. And what I'll be doing is probably a 3-tiered thing. There'll be a group. The first 2 will probably be group, and then there will be one-on-one And I think a lot of that will be delivered virtually, although I am a great fan of there is no substitute at some point of getting together.
Right. And I mean, in the current state, we just don't know when that'll be, but
that's going to be, but it won't be forever. We know we're going to get through this at some stage, but I would love to create like a once a year conference, and that any of my students or prospects can come to. And then I would love to, especially with my higher level, small group of people who are really seriously interested in becoming their own CFO, where we go meet, together in person, at least maybe 4 times a year in various cities. And maybe one of those is a nice spa kind of a thing where we could also do a little relaxation as well as learning.
So that sounds like the mastermind model. It's like a higher ticket, maybe 20,000+ a year, and you meet a few times, and it's some coaching involved in that as well.
Exactly, because one of my great strengths is my network. I know amazing people who are the best investors, the best wealth managers, or they have some kind of specialty investment. You are probably not going to find a lot of these people on Google, social media, and you're not going to find them speaking in public. I can get these people to come on either on a video call, or in some cases I could get them to come in person.
Nice.
So that's, when you can learn from someone who is uber successful or possibly a well-known name, that's really, and you can sit with them and ask them questions and interact. That's extremely valuable.
Yes, it is valuable. So then you want to fill your pipeline with people who are able to afford and appreciate that level of service.
Yes, exactly. And then what I'm aiming to get for them, that they're making sure that they get ROI, because this isn't just about lining my pockets. It's about creating value for them. So they say, wow, that was $20,000 well spent. I made multiples of that off of who I met and what I learned.
Mm-hmm. And so what would be the average income of your ideal audience, the person who'd be in the top tier of one of these programs?
Wow. Top tier are probably going to be people with net worth of $1 million plus, or earning at least $100,000 a year, probably more than that at that level. Actually, I'm probably looking at accredited investor level, which is $200,000 a year as an individual or $300,000 as a couple.
Okay, perfect. So that helps, because now you can figure out where are people making that amount of money specifically. What careers are they in? And then what organizations are they a part of, so that would be, so that it's easy to find those folks.
Yes, very important. And I think I'm probably dealing with Gen Xers and boomers, probably people 40 and up, although I would never turn anyone down based on their age.
Yeah, and it's not really 40 and up. I mean, I was probably making $300,000 at 26. And so was everyone in my friend circle, for the most part, because we were all lawyers at large law firms. So it's more so industry specific. And most industries start at a certain level. So in the legal space, for people who work at like the top 20 firms in the country, we're all on a tiered salary basis. So this past year, the starting salary was $190, not including bonus. Most of those folks typically also marry well. And then you have tiers that goes to that. So like first year, 190, second year, 210, third year, 240. And now that was when I started. So now it's gone up. So, and it's similar for consultants. So folks who are straight out of B school, that are working at like a Boston Consulting Group and some of the other larger consulting firms, they're starting in the lower 6-figure range right off the bat. So when you think of industry, I would think of legal and consulting.
Okay.
And I would think specifically about where do those folks congregate in the in the high-end professional services firms. Because as with anything, there's ranking. So as you have like your Fortune 500s, you have your law firms, they call them the American Law Firm 200. So you want the folks at the top of their game that are making that income, that care a lot about, doing well financially, but also they don't necessarily know where to spend that money. Because they're right out of law school, some straight from undergrad to law, and now, now doing very, very well. Yeah. So it's more so, I would say, industry specific, because ideally, if people are making that much money that young, by the time they're 40, for instance, if you start at a law firm, you make partner in 12 years, the lowest paid partner at my old firm that was equity was at 1.2 million. So they're still pretty young making that type of money. So the hardest thing for me, I would think, would be folks who are like 50 and only making $100,000, because it's hard for that to go up significantly, although they may have saved really well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. What an eye-opener. Thank you. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and at that age, if I could get people at that age in those industries and help them, the impact on their lifestyle for themselves and their family and what the causes they care about, how much more money they could make in those 10 years if they knew what they were doing and who to go to and what not to do. That just blows me away. How much I could help people rather than figuring it out at 40 and having spent all that time blowing the money on stuff and not knowing that they had other investment options that could make them more money. Also, there are investments of passion that people really get not just money on, but return on life, so to speak, like wine investing, whiskey investing. These things are real. You make real money on doing this stuff. And
definitely
because they so enjoy the wine and the whiskey. I've been to some wine auctions and met people that do this. What a great group of people. You make new friends and you get such an appreciation for the product and the people making it. It's just so cool. And I'd love to get people knowing about that way before they've blown all the money doing something else.
Definitely. So what I would say is, because the goal is to really get them in this pipeline of where you can really help them make a huge difference in their finances, I would choose a target based on industry and then subcategories like the elite of the elite within that industry.
Right.
And if you decide to do professional services, you have lawyers, accountants, and consultants, and bankers, people in the finance industry as well.
Yeah.
But what you'd probably want to do some research on is figuring out, so at the accountant level, you may be targeting only the partners of the accounting firm. So like women partners of accounting firms.
Right.
At the law level, you could just target the largest firm. So it's not necessarily an age differentiator or a seniority, but you're just targeting large firms because you can Google their salary. It's going to be all on the internet.
Absolutely. Well,
and then consultants are similarly.
Yeah. And those people are also easy to find.
Right. Their emails are public. The firm name is public. Right. The events that they go to is public. So there's a lot of lawyers and law events. There's also an association of the National Association of Women Law Firm Owners. And so there's a whole group of women who own law firms in their own category who are probably not only thinking, how do I, get my wealth together personally, but how do I also help the next generation, or how do I ensure that my employees are getting the knowledge that they need? So after you figure out your target, which it sounds like it may be the professional services folks,
sounds like it.
After that, you want to figure out where they congregate so you can choose like the largest events that will get you in front of these individuals.
Yes. And then develop topics to speak on that are relevant to them.
Yes. And then it's easier if you're like, I specialize in helping women in law to properly manage and realize that health is the real wealth or whatever, or wealth is health, or, any of those things, whatever your tagline will be, that could be really good. So like finding those associations becomes a lot easier once you've narrowed down the target.
Yes, absolutely. Because that's the mistake that a lot of people make, as you know, that I don't want to make is, well, I want to help everybody. No, you can't. If you're trying to help everybody, you're going to help nobody.
Yeah. And it's interesting because after you narrow, you then will be asked to help a wide array of people because people will come to you. Exactly. Which is fine. And then you can choose to take on people in different categories or with different jobs, which there's no problem in doing that. But you do want to have that focus at the outset. Right. You want to be known for something. That's what my book coach told me was, get known for one thing, and then it doesn't preclude you from doing other things, but you've got to, again, hang your hat on something. Definitely. And so do you already have a signature speech? Ooh,
I'm working on a book about real estate investing, people who have done it and done it. It's really the stories. I'm fascinated with the stories. And I'm going to do something about that. But then I have a list of other potential topics that would relate to wealth that I'm going to work on. But I need one specific thing, I think.
Yeah,
Start with
because when you think about these large conferences where these folks congregate, they are either looking for information, so you're the preeminent expert on a particular topic, or inspiration. So you have personally your own story that's just so phenomenal that it'll inspire them to be better, insert their profession here. So better lawyers, for instance. So I would come up with a speech that's general enough to be appealing to a large group, but also detailed enough so that it's specific to like who you are.
Right. Information or inspiration. I'm going to remember that.
Yes, those are like the two categories. And with inspiration, it still needs to have a hook because no one's really hiring motivational speakers anymore.
No.
They always want experts, but typically sometimes it's just not as concrete.
Right.
The expertise may not be. So real estate investing is like an expertise type thing, but confidence and negotiating with confidence and keeping your power up is more inspiration, but it still has teeth. Yeah,
it does. Good. Well, I'll have to work with you later to get you to look at my list and we can figure it out.
Definitely. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, actually.
Wow. I can't believe how fast that went.
I know. So we talked about your target and your topics. And so you're going to work on a signature speech, which is really important. Yes. And then within the target, you now have some guidance on how to figure out where your people are.
Yeah, this has been, Ashley, you've just blown me away with your insights and specifics of who I should be after that I wasn't even thinking that way, and then what literally to go do. This has been gold.
I'm glad. I'm really glad. Awesome. And we'll definitely, there's other things like we could do a VIP day and really work through your specific plan based on what you have going on. Because I do think with your knowledge, your expertise, your background, the folks that you've worked with, the probably just the stories you could tell about your expertise and how much you've helped them to grow and how much you've managed, that type of specificity that you would be able to provide really resonates with folks in that high-powered profession world. Because everyone is like, they get pitched all the time, but it's never like, look, I've worked with 25 billionaires. I've worked with the 10 highest grossing, whatever it is. Right. It doesn't matter. Like manufacturer company owners, like any type of stats that you have that would show, look, I really know what I'm talking about. I'm a woman and I care and I can convey it in a way that you'll relate to is perfect for that audience. And breaking that audience out into just women, there's a lot of opportunity with that as well.
I think so. I don't want my entire focus to be on women, but as I looked at, serving mixed audiences of, both genders and different kinds of people, I thought still, I can't, it's going to be good to get a subgroup of women who just want to be with women and, notching it down further. My dad is Black and my mom is white. I'd love to go talk to African-American women. Or, whatever, I don't even know what the politically correct terminology is anymore, but women who are, who are thinking differently and, that niche of, hey, it's the odds are stacked against you. That would mean a lot to me personally of getting women, and I don't want to say women of color. I'm trying to think of something better.
Right.
It's because of my racial background. You see how I look. Nobody knows what I am. They look at me and go, and they can't figure it out. And everyone guesses wrong. My dad's from Baton Rouge. There's the clue. I'm very mixed. But, I don't want to present myself as a woman or this. I want to present myself as a person who cares. And I understand here your unique challenges based on who you are.
Hey guys, Ashley Kirkwood here, and I just want to take a moment to invite you out to the Speak Your Way to Cash retreat. If you enjoy this podcast, then you will love the Speak Your Way to Cash 2020 retreat in October, taking place right outside Chicago, Illinois. This retreat is for speakers looking to grow their speaking businesses, land corporate or college clients, and skyrocket their earning potential as a speaker. The in-depth sessions at this multi-day retreat will leave you understanding exactly the high-level client acquisition strategies that I use to land corporate clients. You'll also know the exact steps you need to be taking to grow your current business. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. The sessions are amazing. We talk about selling your signature speech, and we actually have time to go over the techniques of speaking. So if you want to become a better speaker as well as a higher paid speaker, then you should come out. We have another session called TEDx Secrets. Bring your laptops. We are actually going to be looking up and applying to TEDx Talks at the retreat. This session will be critical if you're someone who wants to land a TEDx Talk. Client secrets. You'll hear from actual clients about what they want from speakers just like you, and selling success. We cannot do a retreat without talking about selling. But here's the session that I'm most excited about. We are going to do a vision organizational chart party. That means we are going to have not just vision boards, but vision org boards. We are going to map out how your speaking organization should be staffed, what you want that to look like, and how to use global outsourcing in a way that lets you fund the positions in your company that are currently open. So it's for you if you're ready to level up. If so, meet me in Chicago in October. Reserve your seat now. I'm only taking 30 speakers on this retreat. So go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/2020 retreat. And the best part is you can get early bird pricing now of $550, or you can reserve your seat for just $75 down and make payments until the retreat. That's right. You can either pay in full and get early bird pricing of $550 for the entire 2-day experience, or you can reserve your seat for just $75 down. Whatever you decide to do, make sure you're in the room. It's going to be impactful, and I'm ready to help you start speaking your way to cash in person in Chicago in October. Again, the website is ashleynicolekirkwood.com/2020 retreat. See you soon. Can't wait, guys. Yeah, and I think there's a way to tell that story, because for a lot of people, when they look at speakers, it's the story of the speaker that typically draws them in and gets them hired originally. And so, packaging all of that becomes really, really important as well, because that does play a part in it. If you are, I was the only African-American woman in my department in one of the largest law firms in the country. And so it's like, that's still happening in 2019, 2020. It's just ridiculous. They made their first Black woman equity partner ever in 2018 or 2019. And they've been around since 1911. So you have these, that's still a huge part of these elite professions is the diversity, the makeup, and what it secretly says to those who are not, those who are there, who are trying to make it work, being different. So even the diversity piece of it, diversity in finances, is a huge topic that isn't really ever addressed. And it would be really good to address it. So you have a lot of opportunity. It's just a matter of focusing in first on what's going to get you the most exposure, so that you are able to fulfill some of those philanthropic initiatives and endeavors that you have in your heart.
Oh, so much. I care about animals. I care about children. I care about people trying to start businesses and trying to make it through their own life, their own way, so they don't have to be told. Like I was reading today, in Chicago and Milwaukee, there and other cities, there are more Black folks dying of COVID-19 than white folks, because
by a lot.
People, a lot of. I hate people of color. I don't want to say this, but I'm just blanking on anything else. But a lot of these people have lower level jobs. They don't have the option to work at home. What could I do to empower more people to get their own thing going on, or figure out something so they have options? And that I can tell you, and this is a positive message I want to share, is, look, there is no gatekeeper standing at the gates of wealth going, who do you think you are? You can't come in here. Yeah, it's a veiled world, but knock and go in, and nobody's trying to stop you.
Well, one of the things I talked to my dad about, because he's also a heavy investor, and my husband's gotten into it quite heavily as well,
Mhm.
is that the stock market doesn't discriminate. You put your money in, you make that money back. If the stock does well, you make
Yeah,
just as much as someone else. It's just relative to how many shares you own.
right.
And it's just a matter of knowledge, like having the ability to know what to invest in, how to evaluate stocks. And my dad was the first person to tell me a lot of it is common sense. He's like,
Yeah.
what are you using every day? And I told my father, this is the thing. I told my dad before COVID-19 happened, I was like, Dad, you need to invest in Zoom. Every business owner I know uses Zoom. Like all of us use Zoom. Everyone uses Zoom. My corporate clients, when they want to meet with me, we meet on Zoom. I'm like, invest in Zoom. Sure enough, he does not invest in Zoom. And now it's one of the only stocks that is seeing gains in this current market. I told my dad, I told my husband, I was like, why did we not invest in Zoom?
Yeah.
However, we did invest in Netflix back when it was like a less than $100 share.
Yes.
So that was a huge win. So thank God for that. So they listened to me a little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is, what do you enjoy using? And then what companies are innovative and being empowered to know that I can understand the market was a big piece of me getting into the market.
Confidence.
It was the confidence for sure.
Confidence thing. And then to me, it's C's. You've got to have the courage to say, I'm going to get in the game. Then you've got to get the confidence. So then you start rolling, I'm going to try this. I'm going to learn that. Then it's competence. Then you've got to learn more of a level. And then it's community. You need peers like you, because when you start doing this, you can't just start talking, oh man, that stock was so amazing. To people who don't do it, they're like, they don't know what you're talking about. And B, they're going to be jealous. You go up the ladder, the fewer, or the higher, the fewer. It's really important that you get a peer group that understands you, so you don't feel bad, guilty, wrong for having more. There's nothing wrong with having more.
Well, that may be your signature speech, because you said confidence, competence, and community. Those are some good points to a good signature speech, because that really is the foundation of where a lot of folks' fear of financial success comes from. Even being an entrepreneur, I mean, it's phenomenal for me. I love it. I absolutely love it. Just today, I've talked to 4 business owners and helped them figure out how to revive their trademarks or how to, handle lawsuits that they would have otherwise not known how to handle, that they were so overwhelmed by. And I've been able to just break it down in plain language, but it's not a guaranteed paycheck. So you have to have enough confidence and just peace to know, like when all this happened, I was like, well, we're going to figure this out. Like we're going to figure out what's going on.
Let me take a minute and celebrate you. I found you through the Forbes article about you. I'm like, oh my God, this woman, she rocks. What it takes to walk away from that kind of salary and do this because you feel and and the impact you're making, because you didn't sit there and choose to go up the little ladder and get collector and go sue these people and do phenomenal. It's what you will do. I mean, what you've just done for me in 30 minutes could change my life.
Thank you so much.
Serious. Everybody. I mean, you stuck your neck out, lady.
Yeah. Yes, I definitely did. I mean, and it's been so rewarding. I've loved it. And my husband was just like, you don't because I just had we had our baby shower virtually because everything got canceled. And so I got so many gifts from past clients and people who follow me online. And my husband's like, what you don't realize is you teach people how to make additional income for themselves. And that's what you've been doing since you've left your job. And there's so much power in empowering others to make money based on things that they've thought of with their mind or they've created with their hands. And that's why I really like your mission a lot, because it's very, 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 very important that we know what to do with money, not just how to make it, but what to do with it. Because I feel like now I'm way richer than when I was working in corporate. And a part of it is just knowing more about how to invest it, what to invest in, how to shield my money when I need to legally, how to spend appropriately, how to hire. I mean, it's just so much more rewarding, but we don't always know. It's all information.
Oh, well, and the great thing too is, and this is what you have to realize, and this is part of the confidence piece, is you know what, you might try something. And I haven't done this. I should have done this a long time ago. These ideas have been floating around my head for a couple of years. Well, what if I fail? There is no failure. You will learn. You win or you learn. And if you take what you learn and turn around and get back up and go after it, what I know doesn't work gets me to what does. So I can tell you, when I worked in Silicon Valley in what I call the woohoo years, where you had .com after .com, you were actually more valuable and more employable if you worked for a failed.com. Why? Because you knew what didn't work. That's a shortcut to what does. So you got to, and this is what, I've had to pull my courage up and my confidence of, wait a minute, I know so much, and I know all these amazing people. Why am I not? Well, what if nobody wants to? You don't even know, you haven't tried. Go.
Yeah, you don't even know. And for all the speakers out there who are like, okay, how am I going to get engagements during this time? You can pitch virtual engagements. Not all companies are shut down. Not all companies are struggling. Not all people are struggling. And when a large portion of society is struggling, it can almost feel like everyone is. That's not the case. People are still buying services and products that will help them to transition, because people know that things do get better and we will come out of this as a whole. So don't feel bad about continuously pitching and improving and doing what you need to do, as long as you're operating in integrity. If what you have will help people, there's no problem selling it at any time, because it's going to help people. That's the whole point of it. It's a service, and for that service, you get paid. So keep that in mind. Like, everyone is not just at home twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure out how to pay the bills. Like, it's just not everyone's reality. It is some people's reality. Absolutely. And you do want to be conscious of that and supportive of that when you can, but don't stop your business because of what's going on. It's just not wise to do so, because things will recover.
Well, in fact, I'm going to be one of the stories of, I started in the middle of this. I mean, I foundered when all this nonsense started. I'm also a competitive figure skater. I had some major competitions coming up. When I found out they were canceled, the wind went out of my sails. I just moped around the house for a couple of weeks, and I thought, wait, you can keep doing this, or you can stand up and use all this time. I mean, I'm normally writing from home anyway and working from home anyway. What are you going to do? Now is the time. So I'm going to be one of these people that gets up and going and moving. My goal is to finish my book by June 1st. My goal is to have a program created and launched by June 1st. Or sooner, no later, before or on. Why not? I know also my husband, luckily we have not been affected. He's a very high level IT project manager. Nothing's changed for him other than he doesn't have to go to the client site once a month anymore.
Right.
They've all worked virtually anyway. And that project has to get done. It's mission critical to that company. And there are a lot of people like that, depending on the industry. And there are people also that are sitting here thinking, what am I going to do to raise my game? So no, there are, and also, you want to get prosperous. So then in times like this, when people need help, like I just had a friend text me, a very close friend who I've known for 25 years. She's having trouble making rent. I told her the other day, you tell me if you need anything. And she texted, she said, I hate to ask. I'm like, no, what do you need? You want to do well so you can turn around and be that help for people in need now.
Definitely. 100%.
That was so rewarding me to be able to send her a few $100s that was going to make all the difference in the world to her.
Yeah.
So much. That's motivational to me.
Yeah. And that should be motivational to us all. Like, it's always better to be in a position to lend than to be in a position to need. And I'm always like, hey, if people are asking me for stuff, it's because they think I have it, and that's a good thing. So I would rather be in that position and be able to bless someone than have to be dependent. And it is what it is. I'm just, my prayer goes out to everyone who's been dramatically impacted by this. My husband's job, they've done a great job of budgeting, thank God. And so they've been like, no layoffs will be happening. No pay cuts will be happening. You'll just work from home. So we've just been working from home, and he's been doing so many projects around the house that have been put off forever. so that's been great. But yeah, like it's just a different time. But I do really, really appreciate speaking with you and hearing more about how you're going to impact the world. How can people stay in touch with you? Can they find you on LinkedIn, on Instagram? Where can they find you?
Steffi Baker. I live in Baltimore. And you can also email me, Steffi@SteffiBaker.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steffi. I appreciate it. And thank you for listening to Speak Your Way to Cash.
We'll be in touch.
All right. Wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to Facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show, and I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.